So in this session, we have to study their theoretical as well as graphical for their various kind of functions. Okay. Now see here, there is function like y is equals to root of x, means y square is equals to x. You know, here for all x belongs to close and open, means clopin is there. Am I right? That is from 0 to infinity. Okay. Means x is taking their values from 0 to infinity. Is it clear? So y is what? Y is function of x, means root function is there. And how you trace that root function geometrically here in two-dimensional plane. So there are two more variables. That is y is dependent and x is independent variable. So when you substitute there any value of x, there corresponds single value of y. For example, x is 0, y is 0. X is 1, y is 1. Means now then next, if you are taking their x is 4, means y is equals to 2. And all points are having the positive coordinates. Am I right? Means definitely these all will lie in their first quadrant. Am I right? So see here, now when you join these points, get their half part of that parabola. And what is that? Parabola y square is equals to x is a full parabola. But y is equals to root of x is a half parabola. You got it? Yes. And we get their geometrical representation of their function in two-dimensional plane. Okay. Now you come in there next. See here. Exponential function. Y is equals to a raised to x for a is greater than 0 and a is not equals to 1. Means what? Their value of a should be greater than 0. Means it will take their positive values and their value of a should be, yes, should be other than 1. Okay. See here. So what is graph of that function? How you trace it? So when you substitute there various values of x, okay, which lies from minus infinity to plus infinity, that doesn't matter. Am I right? So what is nature of that function? Y is equals to a raised to x. So it is a exponential curve. You got it? Y is equals to a raised to x. If you are taking the values of x from minus infinity to plus infinity. And at the same time, there is constant and it should be other than 1. असा असला पाहिजे लक्षात. तर a च्या ठिकाणी जर व्हॅल्यू तुम्ही 0 पेक्षा मोठी ठेवली आणि 1 सोडून जर असेल, हा नेहमी कॉन्स्टंट राहील. फॉर एक्झाम्पल y इज इक्वल्स टू 2 रेज टू x असेल. तर आपण काय करतो? तर 2 raised to x means 2 is constant every time. You have to change their x. Okay, you have to change their x only, and it is from minus infinity to plus infinity. म्हणजेच काय होणार सांगा? हा असा तुम्हाला एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व मिळेल की जो y is equals to a raised to x आहे आणि त्याला तुम्ही काय म्हणता? फंक्शन असं म्हणता. पण हे कोणतं फंक्शन आहे? इट इज अ एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व. हा कोण असतो? तर एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व. दूसरा एक एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व आहे आपल्याकडे. y is equals to e raised to x if a is equals to e. Suppose you are substituting a is equals to e, and do you know there e is exponential and it is having the value 2.71828. Okay, so it's that standard value, and here in this function if you substitute there x, if you substitute there x, you will not, yes, definitely check, you will not get their straight line, you will get their exponential curve. तुम्ही म्हणणार सर असं का? तर x च्या वेळी तुम्ही व्हॅल्यू घ्याल की ज्या 0 टू इन्फिनिटी असतील, कळलं का? मायनस इन्फिनिटी टू प्लस इन्फिनिटी जरी घेतल्या तरी तुम्हाला हा एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व मिळेल. आता दुसरा एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व कोणता आहे? y इज इक्वल्स टू e रेज टू x आहे असा. मग समजा फॉर एक्झाम्पल x इज 0 ठेवला, e रेज टू 0 काय असणार? 1. x इज 0, e ची व्हॅल्यू काय म्हणणार? e रेज टू 0 1, म्हणजे हा पॉइंट आला 0 1. लक्षात आलं का? हा पॉइंट. नंतर समजा इन्फिनिटी ठेवला तर e रेज टू इन्फिनिटी काय असणार? इन्फिनिटी, म्हणजे तो पॉइंट कुठे जाईल? तर इन्फिनिटी ना, म्हणजे दिस कर्व विल गोअर्स टुवर्ड द इन्फिनिटी, आणि e रेज टू इन्फिनिटी काय असतं? इन्फिनिटी. मीन्स ॲट विच पॉइंट the exponential curve e raised to x intersect to x axis infinity infinity या पॉइंटला काय होतो तो इंटरसेक्ट होतो. ओके, यू गॉट इट क्लिअरली. तर हा एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व ई रेस टू एक्स मिळाला. आता एक्स च्या व्हॅल्यूज इफ यू टेक दर व्हॅल्यूज ऑफ एक्स विच आर ग्रेटर दॅन 0 दॅट इज 1 2 3 4 5 म्हणजेच तुम्हाला पॉइंट्स या कर्ववरती या पोझिशन मिळेल. कळत. आणि व्हेन यू जॉईन देम गेट देअर एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व. ओके, गेट देअर एक्सपोनेन्शियल कर्व असा मिळेल तुम्हाला. सो फर्स्ट यू हॅव टू स्टडी their theoretical as well as geometrical representation of function. Every function, there are various kind of function, but you should know their theoretical as well as geometrical representation. And if you are studying here in both the ways, definitely you will get their clear understanding. Okay, okay, see it. Now this is what one more function, that is logarithmic function. Okay, that is logarithmic function. So log to the base a of x for all x belongs to 0 to infinity. ये काय असणार आहे, हा बेस आहे लक्षात घ्या. आणि हा बेस कसा असला पाहिजे तर 0 पेक्षा मोठा असला पाहिजे म्हणजे ग्रेटर दॅन 0 अँड इट शुड बी अदर दॅन 1 म्हणजे 1 सोडून असला पाहिजे. लक्षात आलं. आता इफ यू आर सबस्टिट्यूटिंग देअर व्हॅल्यूज ऑफ एक्स विच आर फ्रॉम 0 टू इन्फिनिटी, कुठून कुठपर्यंत जायचं 0 टू इन्फिनिटी. आता समजा 0 ठेवलं, 0 ठेवला तर काय होणार सांगा रे. 0 ठेवला इथे काय होईल, समजा 1 ठेवला तर तुम्हाला नॉन झिरो व्हॅल्यू मिळणार. आणि 0 ठेवला तर काय होणार, लॉग ऑफ 0 काय होणार, तो इन्फिनिटी होईल. लॉग ऑफ 0 इज मायनस इन्फिनिटी. लक्षात आलं का, तो मायनस इन्फिनिटीकडे जाईल. आता नेक्स्ट काय बघा, नेक्स्ट व्हॅल्यू ठेवा. 0 नंतर 1 ठेवा, 2 ठेवा, 3 ठेवा. म्हणजेच तुम्हाला काय मिळेल, कोणता कर्व मिळणार तर हा कर्व मिळेल लॉग ऑफ एक्स टू द बेस ए, म्हणजे इकडून स्टार्ट होईल तो असं. आता समजा 1 ठेवला, 1 जर ठेवला लॉग ऑफ 1 टू द बेस ए इट इज 0 ना. का सांगा, ए रेस टू 0 इज 1 ना, ए रेस टू 0 इज 1. मग हा आपण लॉग मध्ये कसा एक्सप्रेस करतो, लॉग ऑफ 1 टू द बेस ए इज इक्वल टू 0. समजलं की नाही, लॉग ऑफ 1 टू द बेस ए इज 0 म्हणजे हा ही व्हॅल्यू मिळाली. नाव इफ यू टेक देअर व्हॅल्यूज ऑफ एक्स विच आर अदर दॅन 1 म्हणजे आता इकडे येणार. मग काय होणार सांगा, आता कमी कमी करत गेलं म्हणजेच काय होणार. So we will get there all points which lies on that same curve, that is on the logarithmic function. हा logarithmic function. ओके, मग आता a च्या ठिकाणी e ठेवला याचा अर्थ काय, नॅचरल लॉग ऑफ एक्स. in चा अर्थ काय, नॅचरल लॉग ऑफ एक्स. कळलं. आणि e जो आहे तो e तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, e ची व्हॅल्यू 2.71828 असते. मग x हा ग्रेटर दॅन 0 असते. यू हॅव टू स्टडी यार सिंपल काइंड ऑफ फंक्शन्स. Yes, how to express their geometrically, that you have to study. It's simple, no doubt. आता मग काय होईल सांगा, नॅचरल लॉग. म्हणजे नॅचरल लॉग तुम्हाला असा दिसेल, नॅचरल लॉग तुम्हाला असं दिसणार, बरोबर आहे. सो लॉग ऑफ एक्स टू द बेस ए आणि एक्स कसा असला पाहिजे, ग्रेटर दॅन 0 म्हणजे हा नॅचरल लॉगचा ग्राफ आहे. लक्षात आलं. सो दिस इज व्हॉट दी ग्राफ फॉर लॉगॅरिथमिक फंक्शन. कळलं ना. आता नेक्स्ट काय असेल तर हायपरबोलिक साइन फंक्शन. आता तुम्ही मला सांगा, युलर्स मध्ये आपण फॉर्म्युले बघितले. इन युलर्स व्हॉट आर द फॉर्म्युले, युलर्स फॉर्म्युलेज आर इन हायपरबोलिक फंक्शन. व्हॉट आर दिस, e raised to x is cos x plus sin x and e raised to minus x is what, cos x minus sin x. Sin आणि cos means what, they are hyperbolic function. You got it. मग इथं तुम्हाला काय स्टडी करायचं आहे, टू स्टडी हियर द ग्राफ ऑफ साइन हायपरबोलिक फंक्शन. ग्राफ ऑफ साइन हायपरबोलिक फंक्शन. कळलं ना. तर तुम्हाला तो तसा दिसेल. कसा दिसणार, फॉर ऑल एक्स बिलोंग्स टू आर. x belongs to r means what, r is the real value which is from minus infinity to plus infinity असे असणार. कळत. आता समजा फॉर एक्झाम्पल x is 0 ठेवला, x is 0 कुठे असणार, सेंटरला आहे, ओरिजिनला. मग x इज 0 ठेवला तर काय होईल e रेस टू 0 1 e रेस टू मायनस 0 1 आणि 1 मायनस 1 0 अपॉन 2 0 0 by s 2 is 0 0 divided by any finite number is 0 आणि any finite number divided by 0 काय मिळेल रे any finite number divided by 0 फॉर एक्झाम्पल 1 by 0 काय मिळेल काय भेटणार आहे सांगा IS एनीबडी हॅज सोल्युशन मिस्त्री आहेत का सांगू शकता का तुम्ही सो इट इज इन्फिनिटी ओके तर इन्फिनिटी भेटेल येस यू गॉट इट आता या फंक्शनचं आपल्याला जॉमेट्रिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन बघायचं ग्राफिकल रिप्रेझेंटेशन काय असू शकतं मग आता समजा आपण हा सेंटर घेतला नंतर एक्स व्हॅल्यूज कोणत्या घ्यायच्या एक्स कोणतीही व्हॅल्यू घ्या समजा एक्स इज 2 घेतला ई स्क्वेअर मायनस ई रेस टू मायनस 2 अपॉन 2 डेफिनेटली इट इज अ पॉझिटिव्ह जर निगेटिव्ह व्हॅल्यू घेतली तर काय मिळणार सांगा एक्स हा निगेटिव्ह घेतला एक्स इज -1 मग त्याच्यापासून तुम्हाला काय मिळणार निगेटिव्ह व्हॅल्यू साइन हायपरबोलिक एक्सची व्हॅल्यू काय मिळते निगेटिव्ह मिळते म्हणजे जशी तुम्हाला पॉझिटिव्ह व्हॅल्यूसाठी वायची व्हॅल्यू पॉझिटिव्ह मिळते फॉर एक्स तशी एक्सच्या निगेटिव्ह व्हॅल्यूसाठी वायची व्हॅल्यू सुद्धा काय मिळते निगेटिव्ह मिळते दॅट इज फंक्शन मीन्स डेफिनेटली ऑल पॉइंट्स विल लाईज इन फर्स्ट क्वाड्रंट ॲज वेल एज कोणत्या थर्ड क्वाड्रंट समजलं आणि वेन यू जॉईन देम गेट दी ग्राफिकल रिप्रेझेंटेशन फॉर हायपरबोलिक फंक्शन साइन हायपरबोलिक फंक्शन ओके हे कोणता असेल तर साइन हायपरबोलिक फंक्शन समजलं व्हॉट इज दॅट नेक्स्ट सी आता हायपरबोलिक कोसाइन फंक्शन आता हायपरबोलिक कोसाइन फंक्शन तुम्ही कसं लिहू शकता इन टर्म्स ऑफ एक्सपोनेन्शियल ई रेस टू एक्स प्लस ई रेस टू मायनस एक्स अपॉन 2 डू यू नो दॅट फॉर्म्युला फॉर ई रेस टू एक्स cos x plus sin x and e raised to minus x is cos hyperbolic x minus sin hyperbolic x when you're adding them so get there 2 cos hx right means what e raised to x plus e raised to minus x upon 2 and when you subtract them get their formula for sin hx now in this function you take their values of x from minus infinity to plus infinity okay मायनस इन्फिनिटी पासून प्लस इन्फिनिटी पर्यंत तुम्ही काय करू शकता एक्सच्या व्हॅल्यूज घेऊ शकता आता समजा सपोज यू सबस्टिट्यूट देयर एक्स इज 0 सपोज यू सबस्टिट्यूट देयर एक्स इज 0 एक्स जर 0 सबस्टिट्यूट केला तर काय मिळणार सांगा रे इट्स अ सेंट्रल व्हॅल्यू ऑफ दॅट फंक्शन बरोबर इट इज सेंट्रल व्हॅल्यू ऑफ दॅट ग्राफिकल रिप्रेझेंटेशन फॉर cos हायपरबोलिक एक्स मग एक्स इज 0 ठेवला तर ई रेस टू 0 काय असेल 1 ई रेस टू मायनस 0 काय असेल 1 आणि 1 प्लस 1 काय असेल 2 2 अपॉन 2 काय मिळणार इट इज 1 म्हणजे काय आला हा पॉइंट 0 1 हा पॉइंट कोणता आला 0 and when you substitute their remaining values either from left or from right of x axis definitely all values will lie on that same curve असा होईल याला आपण काय म्हणतो इट इज ग्राफ ऑफ येस कोणता ग्राफ आहे सांगा हा ग्राफ ऑफ cos hyperbolic x ओके हा ग्राफ कोणाचा आला cos hyperbolic x now we come in there next y is equal to tan hx so tan is made by sin cos right so it gives the relation for sin and cos so tan hx is what sin hx upon cos hx and do you know that formula so these two formulas have studied in their past okay so e raised to x minus e raised to minus x upon e raised to x plus e raised to minus x for all x belongs to R it is very simple and interesting also okay now when you take the value of x is 0 what is that 0 tan hyperbolic 0 ची value काय असणार आहे it's a central value for this graph x ची व्हॅल्यू 0 ठेवली e raised to 0 1 minus e raised to 0 e raised to minus 0 it is also 1 1 minus 1 0 but in denominator so what value will be there e raised to 0 it is 1 e raised to minus 0 हा काय असेल 1 1 plus 1 2 and 0 by 2 it is 0 म्हणजे तो कुठे असणार इथे असेल पॉईंट. म्हणजे कुठे मिळणार? इट इज ॲट ओरिजिन. कुठे असणार? इट इज ॲट ओरिजिन, दॅट इज ॲट 0 0. ओके. सी here. आता बघा, when you take there the value of x is, yes, value of x is greater than 0 or less than 0. Greater than 0 means what? It should be पॉझिटिव्ह असले पाहिजे. आणि लेस दॅन 0 means what? It should be निगेटिव्ह. बरोबर आहे ना? आता समजा when you substitute there, काय सबस्टिट्यूट करणार? ग्रेटर दॅन 0 म्हणजे 2 करा, 3 करा, 4 करा. सो ऑल व्हॅल्यूज विल lie on that same curve. Means all points will lie on their same. And when we are taking the negative values of x, it will lie on their, yes, lie on their which curve? Their curve which is in their third quadrant. Okay. So it's a graphical representation of hyperbolic function, tan hyperbolic x. Now we have seen their type of function and their graphical representation. Okay. Now next point is important to study their derivative and integration, and it is called the limit of function. It is called the limit of functions. Okay. F of x and g of x are functions, and argument is x. Real constant are a and k. Now you know what are the results in their limits. So limits of sum or difference is equal to sum or difference of their limit. So we can apply their limits to their function. When there is constant, we cannot apply their limit on constant. So write as it is, means you will get their constant. Okay. So limit to f of x plus g of x as x tends to a is nothing but what? Is nothing but sum of their limits. Okay. So limit of f of x as x tends to a plus limit of g of x as x tends to चॅटला टाकतात ना ते. अहो चॅटला टाकतात ना ते. चॅटला असतं ना. Okay. See there. Now, what is that next? Limit of f of x minus g of x as x tends to a is limit of f of x as x tends to a minus limit to g of x as x tends to a. Okay. It means that limit of subtraction is nothing but subtraction of their limits. Is it clear? And what is that next? Limit of product is nothing but product of their limits. So limit to f of x into g of x as x tends to a is what? Limit to f of x as x tends to a into limit to g of x as x tends to a. Okay, you got it? Yes, is it clear? So these are the basic laws in their limit of functions. Okay, see here. What is that next? Limit of division is equal to division of their limits, provided their function should be non-zero in place of denominator. If it is 0, it is meaningless. Am I right? So limit of f of x upon g of x as x tends to a is limit to f of x as x tends to a upon limit to g of x as x tends to a. Okay. If limit to g of x as x tends to a is non-zero. Okay. What is that next formula? Limit to k into f of x as x tends to a. What is that k? K is constant. So always you should keep in mind, limit is applied only on function, not on constant. If there is constant, take it outside and then you apply the limit to their function as x tends to e. Okay. Now what is that next? You know, here limit of function is there. Limit of function is there. That is called the composite function. Baga. आता फंक्शन ऑफ फंक्शन जर असेल, मग ज्या फंक्शन मध्ये जे व्हेरिएबल आहे त्या व्हेरिएबलसाठी लिमिट आपल्याला अप्लाय करावं. व्हेरिएबल कोणता आहे रे? व्हेरिएबल इज एक्स. व्हेरिएबल कोणता आहे सांगा? व्हेरिएबल इज एक्स. ओके. सो मग आपल्याला व्हेरिएबल साठी लिमिट अप्लाय करावं लागेल. सो एफ इंटू लिमिट टू जी ऑफ एक्स ॲज एक्सटेन्शन. And then you know here limit to f of x as x tends to a is equals to f of a. It means that you have substituted here x is equal to a. So what does it means? If the function of x is continuous at x is equal to a, this is possible only at function should be continuous at x is equals to a. बरोबर आहे ना? At x is equals to a असं मिळेल. You got it? Yes. We go towards in next. So what are the results in their limits? So those results you have studied in their 12th standard. They are very important. So those kind of fundamentals you have studied in their 12th standard, these are also useful in their first year engineering, because first year engineering is a fundamental engineering for next 3 years. You got it? And already I have told you. Okay. So what is that result for limit? Limit to sine of x as x tends, sine of x upon x as x tends to 0, it is 1. Yes. This limit for their function sine x by x as x tends to 0, it is 1. You have studied. Anybody has solution to get their 1? Yes, anybody has idea, your technique, yeah, solution to get their 1? Yes, anybody has idea? This is a simple example in their limit. Yes, simple results in their limit. This is what simple example in their limit. You know here. So what is that actual limit? So when you substitute there x is 0, sine 0. What is that sine 0? Sine 0 is 0. You come in their denominator. Substitute x is 0. x च्या ठिकाणी 0 ठेवल्यावर काय होणार आहे? 0च होणार. And it is 0 by 0 मिळणार. ठीक असेल 0 by 0. Is there possible? What does it means? It is indeterminate form. Means we cannot determine their value. Yes? It is possible only by using their either L'Hospital rule or by expansion method to get their finite limit, and that is 1. Okay? So we'll discuss that same where in our subject, that is engineering mathematics first. There is one chapter in your syllabus for this semester, and the name of chapter is expansion. In that chapter you have to study. Okay? So this what? 1. Simply here in this I will explain here what is that L'Hospital rule. When limit of function is in indeterminate form like 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity, in this case to take derivative of numerator as well as denominator separately till finite form. Suppose in first step, when you apply the L'Hospital rule and substitute their corresponding limits, and if you are getting there 0 by 0, apply their second. Suppose there is 0 by 0, apply their third. In this way, and to find their finite limit, that is called L'Hospital rule. Now in this case, you are getting their limit as 0 by 0. And when limit is in the form 0 by 0, we are using the L'Hospital rule. Means what? Taking derivative of numerator and denominator separately. And what is the derivative of numerator? It is cos x. And derivative of denominator, it is 1. So cos x upon 1. And when you apply the limit as x tends to 0, cos of 0 काय असेल रे? What is that cos of 0? Yes, anybody has their solution? Cos 0 is 1. Hence their limit is 1. So you can apply that same on their remaining results. Okay? When their limit is in the form 0 by 0, yeah, infinity by infinity. Okay? जर लिमिट तुम्हाला 0/0 किंवा इन्फिनिटी मिळत असेल तर शॉर्टली आपण सोल्युशन फायनाइट फॉर्म मध्ये कसं मिळवू शकतो? बाय एल हॉस्पिटल रूल. समजलं? नाव यू कम इन देअर नेक्स्ट tan x upon x as x tends to 0 हा सुद्धा काय असेल 1. What is that next? Sin inverse of x as x upon x as x tends to 0 हा सुद्धा काय असेल 1. And limit as x tends to infinity to 1 plus k by x raised to x is e raised to k. आणि जर 1 by x असतं तर काय केलं असतं रे? सपोज k is 1, e raised to काय मिळालं असतं? 1 मिळालं असतं. e raised to 1 काय मिळालं असतं? इथं e raised to 1 मिळालं असतं. k च्या ठिकाणी 1 जर घेतलं असतं. ओके. What is that next? A raised to x as x tends to 0. When apply their limit, so get there 1. So x is 0 means what? A raised to 0, it is 1. What is that next? Limit to tan inverse of x upon x as x tends to 0 हा सुद्धा काय असेल 1. And then next limit as x tends to 0 to log of 1 plus x upon x हा सुद्धा काय असणार 1 असेल. हा सुद्धा काय असेल 1 असेल. Then next what? Limit as x tends to infinity to 1 plus 1 by x raised to x. It is exponential e. It is what? Exponential e. Okay? हा काय असेल exponential e. So these are the types of results in their limit. Okay? Limit of functions. Okay? See here. The next. Now if you know their meaning of function, meaning of limit. Next to study here the derivatives. So derivative is totally based on their function and their limits. Okay. Definition and then properties. Functions are in the form of f, g, y, u, v. Independent variable is x. Real constant k and angle alpha. Okay. See here. मग आता फर्स्ट प्रिन्सिपल काय रे? विच इज दॅट फर्स्ट प्रिन्सिपल इन डिफरन्शियल? y dash of x is what? Limit as del x tends to 0. Del x means what? It is very small change in x. या डेल्टा x असं सुद्धा म्हणतो. del x किंवा delta x. हा delta x means what? It is very small. That is infinitesimal quantity. That is very small change in x. Tends to 0. Change in function with respect to change in independent variables. हो रहा है ना? And when you apply the limit as del x tends to 0, get there dy by dx. And dy by dx means what? It is ratio at which infinitesimal change in dependent variable with respect to infinitesimal change in independent variable. That is called differential, and it is nothing but first principle. This is what first principle in our the concept of differential. Okay. So y dash of x हा डॅश म्हणजे कोण आहे रे? dy by dx आहे. लक्षात घ्या. हा डॅश म्हणजे कोण असणार? dy by dx असेल. You seems to be these symbols are new for you. No. Yes, their meaning already all studied. It is nothing but dy by dx. हा कोण असणार? dy by dx. मग dy by dx आपण कसा घेणार? Limit as delta x tends to 0 to change in function with respect to change in their independent variables. Okay, change in independent variables. So it is what? Dy by dx. And do you get the definition of differential? What is that definition of differential? Yes, anyone? How you define? Means to find the rate. आपण काय find करतो? Rate. It is the rate at which infinitesimal change in dependent variable with respect to infinitesimal change in independent variable. In short, change in displacement with respect to time as very small change in time tends to 0. It is called velocity. Am I right? So same is here. Change in displacement with respect to time. Okay. So called as the velocity, and this is what the application of differential. So y dash of x means what? It is dy by dx. Sometimes it is written as इट इज रिटन ॲज y1. असं हे सुद्धा y1 न लिहिलं जातं, लक्षात. हे सुद्धा y1 न. ओके, टू कम इन देअर नेक्स्ट. सो तर कर इज वॉट y इज इक्वल्स टू फंक्शन ऑफ x. हा आपला कर आहे, लक्षात. हा कर आहे, हा आपला कर आहे. व्हॉट इज दॅट फर्स्ट डेरिव्हेटिव्ह? First derivative is nothing but what? The tangent to curve. Means what? Their first derivative is also called the tangent to curve. And this is what? Application of differential. म्हणजे जर तुमच्याकडे एखादं फंक्शन असेल, त्याचा फर्स्ट डेरिव्हेटिव्ह घेतल्यानंतर तुम्हाला काय मिळते? टँजंट मिळते, बरोबर आहे ना. टँजंट जर तुम्हाला एखाद्या कर्व साठी फाइंड आउट करायचे असेल तर फर्स्ट डेरिव्हेटिव्ह घ्यायचं, म्हणजेच dy/dx असतं. आणि हा dy/dx म्हणजेच कोण रे? इट इज नथिंग बट टॅन ऑफ अल्फा. म्हणजेच कोण असणार? स्लोप्स असेल. ओके, हा चेंज कशामध्ये आहे? एक्स मधला आहे बघा. एक्स आणि एक्स प्लस डेल एक्स. हा डेल एक्स म्हणजेच काय? व्हेरी स्मॉल चेंज इन एक्स. आणि हा चेंज काय? वाय. इथून इथपर्यंत डिस्टन्स किती? वाय. आणि हा डेल वाय, बरोबर आहे ना. सो वाय प्लस डेल वाय. डेल वाय मीन्स वॉट? व्हेरी स्मॉल चेंज इन वाय. ओके, very small change in y. So in this way, this was the application of first derivative. So first derivative is tangent to curve at a point. Okay, what is that next? dy/dx is tan alpha, बरोबर आहे ना. म्हणजे tan of alpha, that is called the tangent. Now you know there's some results which are in their differential. So differential of sum is equals to sum of their differential. Like d/dx of u plus v means what? du/dx plus dv/dx. What is that subtraction law in their differential? Differential of subtraction is equal to subtraction of their differential. Okay, म्हणजेच कसं लिहिता येईल आपल्याला? du/dx minus dv/dx. If there is any constant with their function in differential, take constant outside and you apply that differential on their functions. And d/dx means what? It's the operator. So operate on their function. Operate on their function. So k into du/dx. And what is that product law? Do you know that product law in differential? That is d/dx of u into v. So it is first into derivative of second plus second into derivative of first. Okay. So d/dx of u into v, or you write in this fashion, derivative of first into second plus first into derivative of second. Okay. असं जरी घेतलं तरी सुद्धा चालू शकतं. फर्स्ट इंटू डेरिव्हेटिव्ह ऑफ सेकंड प्लस सेकंड इंटू डेरिव्हेटिव्ह ऑफ फर्स्ट, असं सुद्धा लिहिलं तरी चालू शकतं. बट इन एव्हरी टर्म देअर शुड हॅव डेरिव्हेटिव्ह ऑफ वन ऑफ द टर्म. एका टर्मचं डेरिव्हेटिव्ह असलं पाहिजे. समजलं का? हा, येस, एनीबडी हॅज डाऊट इन दिस? इन दिस रिझल्ट्स? एनीबडी हॅज डाऊट in these results? So I have started their lectures from basic. Okay, not had started their this syllabus. Before starting your syllabus, you should have command on their basic fundamentals. Okay. See here. So there are some results in their differential. What is d/dx of cot inverse of x? What is d/dx of cot inverse of x? Before that, you know here. So d by dx of tan x. D by dx of tan x means what? Derivative of tan x. It is nothing but sec square x. D by dx of cot x is minus cosec square x. In derivative, you should keep in mind, in function first letter is of c, it means that their derivative will be negative. Always you should keep. Always you should keep in mind this simple technique for their results. आता इथे बघा, cot x म्हणजे पहिलं लेटर काय c, म्हणजे डेफिनेटली देअर डेरिव्हेटिव्ह विल बी निगेटिव्ह. So d by dx of cot x is minus cosec square x. Minus cosec square x. What is that next? D by dx of sec x. It is sec x into tan x. Yeah, tan x into sec x. What is that next? आता इथं परत c आलं बघा. CSC means what? Cosec. Cosec x. So d by dx of cosec x is minus cot x into cosec x. ERC, arc means what? Inverse of x. D by dx of sine inverse of x. What is that d by dx of sine inverse of x? Yes. D by dx of sine inverse of x. Now you know here one more results. They are simple results that I want to discuss with you. So d by dx of c means what? Constant. It is 0. Then d by dx of x raised to n. It is what? Index results in the differential. Means n into x raised to n minus 1. And d by dx of a raised to x, where a is constant and it should be greater than 0. Means what? It should be positive. What is that? A raised to x into log of a. असं मिळेल. Right? So now then d by dx of e raised to x, that is e raised to x. Their derivative of sine, it is cos x, and derivative of cos is minus sin x. And what I told you already, first letter is c, definitely their derivative will be negative. Minus आलं नाही ते. समजलं का? तर असे रिझल्ट्स काय करायचे लक्षात ठेवायचे आहे. आता इथं बघा, d by dx of arc sin x means what? Sin inverse of x. It is 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. The result of cos inverse of x is same as that of sin inverse of x in differential, but there will be negative sign. First letter काय आलं रे? c. म्हणजेच काय आहे, हा cos inverse of x काय मिळतो? मायनस. इट इज सेम एज दॅट ऑफ साइन. मायनस 1 अपॉन रूट ऑफ 1 मायनस एक्स स्क्वेअर मिळालं. आता नेक्स्ट बघा, डी बाय डी एक्स ऑफ टॅन इनवर्स ऑफ एक्स. टॅन इनवर्स ऑफ एक्स काय असणार? 1 अपॉन 1 प्लस एक्स स्क्वेअर. 1 अपॉन 1 प्लस एक्स स्क्वेअर. कळत? व्हॉट इज दॅट नेक्स्ट? डी बाय डी एक्स ऑफ कॉट इनवर्स ऑफ एक्स. आता कॉट इनवर्स ऑफ एक्स म्हणजे काय असेल? इट इज सेम एज दॅट ऑफ minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. Minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. Now then, sec inverse of x. Derivative of sec inverse of x is 1 upon x into root of x square minus 1. Now cosec inverse of x, the derivative is same as that of derivative of sec inverse of x, but having negative sign. आलं ना इथे negative sign. Minus 1 upon x into root of x square minus 1. Okay, x square minus 1. What is d by dx of sine hyperbolic of x? Cos hyperbolic of x. And derivative of cos hyperbolic of x is sine hyperbolic of x. Means we are getting there, yes, sine in terms of cos and cos in terms of sine. Right? No negative sign is there. Am I right? आता tan hyperbolic of x काय मिळणार आहे? sec hyperbolic. बरोबर ना? 1 by cos hyperbolic square of x means what? Sec hyperbolic square of x. Okay. Cot means what? Minus cosec hyperbolic square of x. And then sec hyperbolic of x is what? Okay, see here. sec hyperbolic of x is what? Minus sec hyperbolic of x into tan hyperbolic of x. Okay, so these are the basic results in their differential. Okay, see here, cosec hyperbolic of x. What is the derivative of cosec hyperbolic of x? Minus cosec hyperbolic of x into cot hyperbolic of x. Cosec x into cot x. Okay, now then d by dx of sine hyperbolic inverse of x. It is 1 upon root of x square plus 1. And that sine hyperbolic inverse of x can be written in the form of log. Will you write there in log? Yes, anybody? हे आपण लॉग मध्ये लिहू शकतो. साइन हायपरबोलिक इनवर्स ऑफ एक्स कसं लिहिणार सांगा? लॉग ऑफ एक्स प्लस रूट ऑफ एक्स स्क्वेअर प्लस 1 असा तो फॉर्म्युला आहे. आणि तो फॉर्म्युला तुम्ही कुठे स्टडी करणार आहात? यू विल स्टडी देअर फॉर्म्युले फॉर हायपरबोलिक इनवर्स wherein the topic of hyperbolic function. बरोबर ना? तिथे तुम्हाला स्टडी करता येईल. So that their differential will very easy. Okay, if you know their formula for hyperbolic inverse, yes, definitely we can find the differential in simple manner. That is 1 upon root of x square plus 1. नंतर काय मिळतो रे? cos hyperbolic inverse of x d by dx means what? 1 upon root of x square minus 1. आता tan hyperbolic inverse of x, will you write there in the form of log s? म्हणजेच हाफ इंटू लॉग ऑफ 1 मायनस एक्स अपॉन 1 प्लस एक्स असा फॉर्म्युला आहे. मग त्याचा आपण डेरिव्हेटिव्ह घेऊ शकतो. म्हणजे लॉग ऑफ ए अपॉन बी चा फॉर्म्युला काय? लॉग ऑफ ए मायनस लॉग ऑफ बी. when we expand their logarithmic terms, definitely we can find their differential in separate manner. Okay, so it is 1 upon 1 minus x square for magnitude of x should be less than 1. आता इथं कंडिशन दिलेली. मॅग्निट्यूड मीन्स व्हॉट? मॉड ऑफ x should be less than 1. म्हणजे x चं मॅग्निट्यूड हे 1 पेक्षा काय असलं पाहिजे? लहान असलं पाहिजे. बरोबर आहे ना? 1 पेक्षा लहान असेल तरच ही टर्म्स काय असणार? पॉझिटिव्ह असणार. सो 1 अपॉन पॉझिटिव्ह टर्म्स म्हणजेच काय मिळणार? पॉझिटिव्ह मिळणार. नाहीतर ही टर्म काय होणार? निगेटिव्ह होणार. म्हणून ही कंडिशन दिलेली आहे. मॉड ऑफ x should be less than 1 means what? Magnitude of x. Can you find the magnitude of real number? For example, magnitude of -1 कसं find करता रे? What is magnitude of -1? You will say it is +1. But how you are getting there +1? Yes, you know. That is -1 can be written in the form of complex, that is -1 plus I0, and their magnitude is what? -1 root of positive root of -1 square plus 0 square, that is root of -1 square is 1. म्हणजे root of 1 काय मिळणार? 1. तर आपल्याला मॅग्निट्यूड त्या पद्धतीने फाइंड आउट करता येतं. ओके, आता बघा, व्हॉट इज दॅट नेक्स्ट? cot hyperbolic inverse of x. And what is that cot hyperbolic inverse of x? -1 upon x square minus 1. आता इथं काय असणार? मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ x should be greater than 1. If not, it will not exist. म्हणजे काय? 1 पेक्षा काय पाहिजे? हा मॉड ऑफ x ग्रेटर दॅन 1 असला पाहिजे. म्हणजे देअर मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ x should be greater than 1. जर ग्रेटर दॅन 1 असेल तरच ही टर्म्स काय मिळते? पॉझिटिव्ह मिळू शकते. समजलं का? म्हणून देअर कंडिशन्स आर गिवन हिअर इन दिस फॉर्म्युले. ओके, yes, you got it clearly? Yes, anybody has doubt in this formulae? So you have to study these formulae carefully or revise every time. So these are all important, okay, here in first year engineering. So you have to learn these all carefully and apply wherein first year engineering. ते फॉर्म्युले जे आहेत ते सगळे फॉर्म्युले इम्पॉर्टंट आहेत. कळलं का? तर ते तुम्ही काय करा?